And now we're going to feed these into this function. So let me show you. So here, for all of the predictions, we want to output the bounding box. So for example, if I look at one of the predictions, let's say 4, to continue with the example above, and we run this is what we obtain. So we know that X is none by 85. And if we wanted to look at the first one, for example, we would output all these values. You can see that we're extracting the first 4. In this case, these first 4, these ones, are the same as these ones. And we're doing that for each of the 9 predictions. So we're not looking at the remaining 81 values right now. We only want to know for each of these 9 predictions, what are the bounding box coordinates. So if you recall, this corresponds to the X and Y coordinates in pixels within the 640 by 640 image. And this corresponds to the width and height, also in pixels, of that bounding box. Now, what we want to do here is we want to convert this XY width and height to XY of the top left corner of the bounding box and XY of the bottom right corner of the bounding box. So essentially, we want to go from this X and Y and width and height. We want to calculate this value here in pixels, this coordinate, as well as this coordinate right here. So we want to know basically the start and end of these vertices. So when we feed the XY with height to this function, which you can see is actually right here. So we'll jump right here. And then here, we're just converting those values to those 2 X and Y coordinates. And this is very simple, but it's easier to understand visually. So if we have this center coordinate, if we want to calculate this top left corner, what we can do is we can subtract to X half of the width to obtain this value of X, and the value of Y will be this value of Y minus half of the height. And then we'll obtain this value here, which is what this is doing. And then similarly, for this X and Y, if we want to obtain this coordinate, well, we will add to the current value of X half of the width to obtain this X value, and then to this Y, half of the height to obtain this Y value. And this is what this is doing. So we can just run that. And then the moment I run this, for the 9 predictions, we will now have the X and Y coordinates. So you can see boxes here, and of course it has the same shape, but now we have it in X and Y coordinates. We can do the same here as well. We can run this and output box. And then we can run this. Again, we're not using mask, but we'll just run it for completeness. Multi-label is set to false, so we'll step over that. And now we're here, and I'm going to unpack this line of code here in our Colab. So let me show you. So we want to run the max function, and the max function returns a tuple of 2 tensors, the one containing the maximum value as well as the maximum index. And you can see that the keep dimension argument is defaulted to false. So in our case, if we don't put that argument, then it would be false. And let me show you. So here, what we're doing is for all of those predictions, I want to know out of the 80 classes that we have here, starting from index 5 all the way to the end, which in our case is 85, I want to know out of those which one is the maximum, and I want you to return both the confidence as well as the index. So you can see that the output would be these values right here. And again, you can notice that the 0.86 that we talked about earlier for index 4 is right here. And you can see that all of those predictions correspond to class number 2, which is the car. 0 was the person, 1 was the bicycle, 2 for the car. So for these 9 predictions, we're predicting that we have a car, and this is the combined confidence that the model is saying that there is a car in that bounding box. Now, this is not exactly what we want to do, because we want to keep dimensions true, Because if we don't, what's happening is that our tensor is being flattened to a one-dimensional tensor. And we actually want to keep the dimensions. So I'm actually going to comment this and then run it here again with keep dimension to true. And then when I run this, now notice that we obtain the same values, but in this case, by keeping dimension to true, we return a tensor, or two tensors in this case, of 9 by 1, instead of a tensor of just 9, basically unidimensional, or a vector. So it is very important to be aware of dimensions based on the output and output shape that you want to obtain. And then you can see that conf is basically this tensor up to the comma, and then j in this case is right here. All right, so let's keep going. Now we're going to unpack this function here. In this case, let me run this. So we're in the same step. And now we're going to unpack this in our Colab. So we can print box and confidence. This is the one that we obtained right here, as well as j, but we're going to convert it to a float. So we have these three tensors, because mask is empty. We're not using it in our case. So we're going to concatenate the box, the confidence, and the j floating point. And we're going to do it along the column dimension, or dimension 1. So you can see that this confidence will be right here behind box, and then j will be right here as well, since we're concatenating along this dimension. And this is what this function is actually doing. So let me run this. And now here is storing this variable, x,